Hello, I'm Andrew Whiners with the Trinity family. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm in the midst of a series talking about the 8 traits that are proven to predict future success for kids. Last couple of weeks, I grabbed a hold of number 4 and number 6 on that list, an open network and avid reading, and I combined them. And I'm going to do a similar thing here this week. I'm actually going to take number 5, which is childhood adversity, and number 8, which is grit. And I'm going to cram them into 1 week because I really see them as synonymous. Childhood adversity, which is this hardship that happens to somebody when they're a child, a hard childhood, is actually a trait that proves future success. And what that produces in an individual is grit, the capacity to overcome hardship in order to meet future goals. And that is a great, great gift that our modern world does not do a great job giving kids. In fact, many of us think it as our primary responsibility as parents and educators to protect our children and prevent them from having bad experiences, from struggling, from encountering the hardships of the world. And that is setting up our children for a future where they're ill-prepared, where they lack the grit and the internal strength to engage with the world out there. Because as much as we might want them to not have bullies now when they're young, there are bigger bullies in the world. And if we want them to be people who can stand up against those bullies out there, we need to give them opportunity to do so when they're young. And so I want to encourage you today with 3 P's that we get the opportunity. When kids bring these 3 P's to us, we're going to give them right back and become a coach, a counselor, a consultant who's going to help them with those things. And those 3 P's are their pain, their problems, or their projects. So if a kid has a physical or an emotional hurt, we're going to, as much as possible, allow them to address it. Now, if they're unconscious and bleeding out, or they've got a broken leg and they can't walk, we're not going to not help. That's not what I'm saying. But we're going to allow, as much as possible, for them to learn how to develop skills to deal with their own pain. That's the same with emotional pain. Also goes for problems. A problem that they have maybe with somebody else or something else, or a problem that they've created. They broke a window. It's a problem that we can give back to that kid so that they can develop the skills they need to address their problems. And the third thing is projects. If they've got this great idea, they're going to build a clubhouse in the backyard, let them make sure they are the ones taking the responsibility for it. And we modern adults have a great tendency for taking responsibility for our kids' pain, problems, and projects. We should not. So, what does that look like? It looks like a kid comes to me with one of those 3 things, and I ask one simple question: what are you going to do about it? What do you think we should do? What do you think we should do about it? What do you think the next step is? Those kinds of questions put the impetus on a child to take responsibility, to develop the grit, to stand a little taller and say, okay, I can address this. So you got the kid, let's just talk about a skinned knee, who comes to you, oh, your daddy, teacher, I skinned my knee. Oh no, that hurts. What do you think you're going to do about it? They might look at you with these wide eyes like, what do you mean? It says your problem. You need to fix it. If they do, then great. You could say, hey, would you like some ideas of what some kids do? They might say yes. If they say no, then you say, oh, well, you're a smart kid. Go on your way. If they say yes, then you can take them in and you can say, okay, well, some kids, they just grab a little dirt, rub it on there. Then they get back at it. How would that work for you? No, I'd make it dirty. I don't want to do that. Perfect. Well, some kids, they get a Band-Aid and try to clean it up and put the Band-Aid on there. How'd that work for you? Yeah, I guess that would be good. Kid gets a Band-Aid, they put it on themselves, they clean up their wound, and then they go back and play. So the same thing might have happened, right? They might have gotten a Band-Aid from an adult, gone back out to play. But what happens here is they, in their own strength, cleaned up their mess, put on a Band-Aid, and headed out to play. In the prior scenario, they come in, and in the adult strength, they get fixed up and sent back out. There's a huge difference there. So, I'm not encouraging you to be heartless. to not have any empathy, compassion, not to give kids hugs who are hurting, but to stand back, remove yourself a little bit, and become that helper who can simply walk them through taking responsibility for it themselves. Because when you do, you'll raise children and you'll help lead children who are developing that inner capacity to face the very real struggles that they're going to encounter in this world, and that we need them to be able to face and overcome for the brighter future we all hope for them and for our world. Thanks so much for giving that kids that gift. Have a great day. Bye.